If we hadn't gone on strike, the proposals that were on the table that the conglomerates were offering us included rollbacks in residuals, rollbacks in reacquisition, separated rights, a study of the Internet. We didn't want to go on strike. We had proposals that we thought at the time were reasonable, that we think are reasonable and have been agreed to now. You know, it's 20/20 hindsight and Monday morning quarterbacking. I wish we hadn't gone on strike, but had we not, I suspect we would not have the deal we have today.
We wouldn't have distributors gross, I'm sure of that. We wouldn't have jurisdiction on the Internet.
We firmly believe that this will have an impact on the way business is done in this town, and that our ability to get coverage in new media will affect the way the other unions, both above and below the line, will get that coverage, and that there will be an absolute effect that the folks who struggled with us will be able to take advantage of. Giving up animation and reality was a heartbreaking thing for me personally. It was obviously very important to many of our members, but it was more important that we make a deal that benefited the membership, the town as a whole, that got people back to work, and that solved the biggest problems in new media. I think among other things that brought this to a head were the involvement of the CEOs. We spent nearly 3 months with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producer executives, the labor executives, getting nowhere, quite frankly. And the involvement of the two gentlemen who I mentioned, also Leslie Moonves of CBS, I think was instrumental in making this deal happen.
I just wanted to add, by the way, that going forward, given what Patrick just said about animation and reality, going forward, this will be an enormous goal for our two unions working together to organize in reality and animation. They will be very high priorities for us.
I think the legacy of this strike is going to be the ability of writers and creators to develop content without the companies. And we were making deals, and we will continue to make deals with companies that are funded by Google, Yahoo, new media companies that will allow content creators to actually control not only the production but have a better handle on distribution. And in that regard, I think there will be a spreading of entertainment properties beyond the 7 conglomerates. If they feel as though they're going to condense and consolidate and have fewer jobs available under their umbrella, I think there's going to be other jobs, better jobs, available elsewhere under the control and the rubric of the content creators themselves.
There comes a time in any strike where it's time to settle, and that time is when the pressure is greatest on both sides. It was going to be a huge issue for the industry to lose the Oscars, to lose this television season, to lose potentially the next television season. And obviously those are huge issues for our membership as well, because if those things are lost, then member income is lost for months. And so that's what creates the pressures on both sides to make a deal. And we got stronger as the strike went on. That was the interesting thing about it. Usually your power peaks at the beginning, and then you sort of go into attrition mode. I actually think that this deal finally came because our power was greatest in the last couple of weeks when we made the deal.
I think it was extraordinarily empowering, and I hope it's you know, we're being told that this strike is already being taught as a case study, and that you know, it has an impact on the way business is done in this industry and others you know, across this nation. That the collective voice of people in a union matters, and that you know, management should pay heed to it.
I mean, I think the legacy is this power of collective action in Hollywood. The unity of our guild, 3,000 people on the picket lines from day one. The fact that we stayed united to the end is something that I don't think will be forgotten very soon. This wasn't anything about individuals or, you know, Hollywood insiders determining how this was conducted or how it was going to end. This was the collective will of 12,000 members of our guild deciding they wanted something, and then in the end they got it. It was a huge victory, I think, for that.
And I think our next challenge, and it's one that we all embrace in a very positive way, is to how to take that energy, that unity, that solidarity, and continue to use it to build the union.
I think this completely lays the groundwork, and that was a victory here. It's very clear what we want going forward in the future on areas of jurisdiction. and on streaming. And I think what will happen in 3 years, my hope is that we will sit down with the other side well ahead of any strike date and work out a solution based on information that we now have access to. We have unprecedented access to the deals that are currently being conducted on the internet, and we'll use that going forward to determine what we get for reuse on the internet.
I also want to add, though, that there remained important issues that we felt were unresolved with new media, particularly the size of the free initial streaming window. There is more discussion to be had there, and we expect going forward that this contract, as John said, lays the groundwork, but there will be more to be done based on a fair evaluation of how that business does evolve. And as I said, unlike contracts passed and new technologies passed where we were simply told, here's the deal, and then stuck with it for a generation, I think this time we have a deal that we like to begin with and that we can improve upon as the technology advances and as the business models evolve.